Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Player's Take, episode 171. I'm your host, Justin DeSimone, joined by my co-host. He doesn't run AC during the Texas summer. Montrell and Justin.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, you heard that right, everybody. This guy's sitting in 80 or 81 degree house temperatures now.
It's like 80 degrees in the house. I got the windows open, so
Uh-huh.
it's breezy.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Okay. Does it feel good? I mean, it might feel okay. How long do you think you're going to last before you start running the AC, though? Because, when it
I
starts
usually
hitting
run the
100...
AC for about an hour, and then it stays at like 77.
Yeah.
I run it to like 77, and then it stays at 77 for about the rest of the night because temperatures usually drop at night, so I just keep it like that and just leave my windows open. I usually sleep with the fan on, and I'm cozy. I don't need it to be like 67 degrees in the house. That's
This
fucking
man
terrible.
is such a cheap motherfucker. I mean, I run my AC pretty high. Like, I think we do like 75 or 76 for our AC, and that's pretty comfortable most of the time. But I leave it on though. I don't like turn it off. So, but Montreal, if you ever have kids, good luck with this. You're not going to be able to get away with this. They will turn the air on, out of spite, but also because they're hot. So.
I mean, yeah, but I don't have any kids right now because of the economy. So that's
true. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure having a baby right now costs like $35,000. So
Yeah, I am definitely good on that. I do not.
you could buy a car with that money.
I don't want to have any kids right now. So
yeah, no, it does seem like a bad time to have children. But all right. Well, Montreal, outside of your air conditioning, how's life treating you? How are you doing?
I just moved into my new place, so it's pretty nice right now. I gotta fill it up with furniture, but I'm broke because I just moved into this place, so I am in the house for the rest of the fucking week, probably for the next couple of months until so I'm probably not gonna be going out anywhere. Probably, I'm gonna try to make it to the board game tonight, or not tonight, but this weekend.
Okay.
I'm gonna try. Don't hold me to it. I'm gonna try though.
Okay. I mean, I will say, with gas prices the way they are right now, it is pretty rough out there, dude. Driving anywhere right now sucks total balls. Like, it's bad news. So
yeah, I propose that everyone should work from home again. Like,
kind of, I know. Like, dude, like at this point, like let's start a new pandemic, man. Like, I don't need to be driving to work 3 days a week. It's kind of annoying me, like a lot.
Man, it's just an energy crisis. Let's just use that as an excuse and everybody work from home.
Yeah, that sounds good. Let's do it. Yeah, I'm doing good. I had to buy a new monitor this past week because my current one is crapping the bed. It's got one band of vertical lines down the one side of it, and no amount of new HDMI or DisplayPort cables or different ports is doing anything to alleviate it. So, new monitor. I got it today actually, but I decided to go into the ultra wide world. So I got a 34-inch ultra wide, and dude, it is comically large. Like, it's bigger than I imagined it would be by a lot. So, yeah,
It came in already.
Yeah, I got it on Amazon on Tuesday, and it took 2 days.
Okay.
Yeah, it took 2 days to get here. It's pretty normal. But yeah, it's I'm gonna be a one monitor Andy now going forward, so I don't have enough space on my desk for two with this behemoth. So that'll be an adjustment actually, because I'm a multitasker. So, but I'm excited though. I've never had a curved monitor, and I'm actually really intrigued to play like Apex with it. So maybe we'll try that tonight. All right, so let's get into it. For those of you who haven't listened before, this is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast app of choice. If you would like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter at The Player's Take, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. Montrell, before we get into what we've been playing, a couple little news items that I want to talk about real quick. So, first one, Battlefield 2042, just to check in with that game real quick. EA Dice has announced that they are reducing the 128 player mode to 64 players permanently. This game is dead, man. They can't even fill lobbies. Like, I think they were saying they were trying to give some bullshit like technical reason why they were doing it, but
No, it was really unstable. It was really unstable. Um, I'm
okay,
actually glad they did that because
fix it,
it was kind of chaotic
fix it,
too. It wasn't a good
fix
mode
it,
to play, to
fix
be
it.
honest with you.
Yeah, man.
The maps, and the objectives. When you're playing breakthrough, especially on certain maps, you just get deadlocked,
Hmm.
and the defending team automatically wins. Like it's not tactical at all. I'm kind of glad they made this change. Hopefully, I think they adjusted the maps too for the change.
Yeah,
Um, because if they're gonna make a 128 player mode, the maps need to be way bigger. I need to be moving like across a city. Like from what they had it looked like you were moving across like Central Park,
a
and
few
it's like
blocks.
that's
Yeah.
not yeah, and that's not viable for 128 players. And then they had like hidden walls, so it was hard to like people, especially in Breakthrough. Now in Conquest, it was okay, but I hate Conquest; it's boring to me. I know a lot of people would disagree with me on that, but I think Conquest is one of the most boring modes in Battlefield. Breakthrough is really fun. Um,
Hmm.
but it with Breakthrough, like I said, they put hidden walls where you couldn't flank and outmaneuver your opponent and stuff like that. So it wasn't viable in my opinion. So I'm glad they got rid of it and just go back to the drawing board and other shit. That being said, this game still is a way uh step back from like even Battlefield 5. Like it's not a good game at all,
Hmm.
in my opinion. They did just come out with a huge patch that changed a lot of stuff. Um, but it didn't change enough. They still have the fucking specialist, or as I like to call them, heroes in the game. Characters still look the same on both teams,
Hmm.
so I don't know who I'm shooting. Sometime it's just not a good look in my opinion.
I
I'm not
mean,
really a big fan
how
of it.
soon do you think they're gonna abandon it?
They said they're dedicated to it, so
I
I
know,
don't
but
know.
how soon do you think they're gonna abandon it? I mean, they're
I think
saying
next year
that,
they're going to
but
abandon it. I think as soon as the holiday season comes around, they're going to abandon it.
okay, yeah. I don't think it's gonna last to the end of the year, honestly. But we'll see. That'll be interesting to watch. This is another item, just a minor note here. Saudi Arabia is continuing to invest in games, and they have now bought 5% of Nintendo. I believe they've also bought shares in other companies such as Capcom, and they were mostly minor stakes like this.
Hmm.
But this is just something to note. Nothing huge to talk about here. I mean, it's not like Nintendo could do anything about this, but just something to kind of keep an eye on because um, you know, this is money flowing to a country that does some pretty shitty stuff. So,
Yeah,
just something to keep in mind, everybody. Again, they fully own SNK, so don't forget that.
I
um,
forgot all about that. They do, don't they?
yep. Yeah, and that means like Metal Slug, right? That's an SNK
Yeah.
property. That Metal Slug
Mhm.
Tactics game. You buy that now. That money's going to Saudi Arabia one way or another. So
So, like, the government of Saudi Arabia owns.
yeah, yeah. It's not like officially the government. It's like a fund that is run by the people, the crown prince and the royal family in Saudi Arabia.
Okay,
But yes, essentially the government of Saudi Arabia, like they run the country. So
that's
yeah,
crazy.
just something to note. Just want to keep people abreast of things going on. All right, Montreal, let's move into what we've been playing. Would you like to go first this week?
You can go first.
Okay. Um, mostly the same stuff, except one new game. Path of Exile. Not much to say there. I beat the main game. I am now in Act 5, I think, and I haven't played in a few days, so I'm kind of at a standstill there right now.
Okay.
I'm just gonna play that whenever it piques my interest. And then Monster Hunter Rise. So I beat the game with Andy on Monday. I think it was. Yeah, I think it was Monday. And I had decided I wasn't gonna keep playing it after that, but then I don't know, man. I wish Sunbreak was out. I'm like really chomping at the bit to play Monster Hunter right now. It kind of sucks. Like I feel I'm like part of me feels like I'm wasting my time a little bit, but at the same time I'm enjoying myself when I play the game. So I've been playing outside of that, and you guys are still playing it as well. So I'm just kind of like, I guess I'm just gonna keep playing it until I'm kind of bored with it until Sunbreak comes out. So it's gonna be more of an on and off game, I think, for me. And then I started Stranger Paradise on Saturday or Sunday. I don't remember the exact day, but um, I've played 2 main missions and I think 2 side missions so far. I've only put a few hours into the game, but so this game is, dude, this game's fucking bizarre. Like, I don't know how to describe it any other way. Like, let me start with this story. That's like the most obvious place to start, I think, because that's the memeable part of the game. So, right now, all I can say for the story is I'm not really into it, but I find it very funny. Like the game is really funny. It's unintentionally funny, but it's funny because the dialogue is super disjointed, like where characters will be having these conversations and then there will just be this complete fucking non sequitur onto something else. And it mostly centers around Jack, where people will be saying something, they'll be talking about something, and then they will address Jack, and Jack just completely derails the conversation into a different direction. And he does this constantly, and it's really fucking funny. Like there's a point early in the game after the first mission where they're like talking to this little boy, and this kid throws a rock at Jack and starts fucking telling him about how like his parents got taken or died or whatever. And the party's like really like, trying to make him feel better about it. And then one of the party members is like, Jack, you need to say something. And Jack, this is what Jack goes, where's the mayor? like what the fuck? Like it's just super fucking random and funny like that at times, like out of nowhere. Like he'll just do that. It's like completely inappropriate to the situation at hand. So it's very funny. I clearly I don't think Team Ninja intended for the dialogue to be funny, but it fucking is. It just is. Maybe it's, I don't know, mistranslation issues. Maybe this is just how they wrote the character. I have no idea. But
I don't think this is a mistranslation. I think they purposely
you
wrote
think
this
it's
character.
intentional? Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of get the same impression for it. But from what I've talked to you about and Andy, like it sounds like this continues for a while. This is not.
Oh yes.
It's
Oh yes. It
uh,
doesn't. It doesn't stop. He doesn't become like
different. Yeah.
different. Yeah, like into the very end of the game.
Okay.
That's what I'll say. I won't spoil it for you though.
Okay.
But yeah, to the
Okay.
very end of the game.
So it's like a so bad it's good kind of situation. Like
Exactly.
it's legitimately hilarious. So I'm enjoying it in that regard. The gameplay, that's really, I think, what most people would actually be coming to this game for. So far early on, I like the gameplay. I definitely feel Neo in here for sure. However, I definitely have some issues with the game that I did not have in Neo or Neo 2, and they're kind of getting on my nerves a little bit, like playing solo. Is that this game is really fucking dark. And the enemies in particular are really fucking dark in this game. Like, and when I say dark, I mean like they are literally hard to see in a lot of situations, and that makes it hard for me to actually time dodges and blocks and shit.
Yeah.
So another thing that I'm finding really irritating with the game too is a lot of enemies have these really weird attack patterns that are very off cycle. Like they don't just attack you; they will like walk around you for like 2 or 3 seconds before they attack you, or they will jump backwards and then attack you. Like they have these weird timing patterns that I'm finding annoying. So a lot of the normal combat against regular enemies, I'm at this point, I started playing mage and I'm just spamming them with spells and shit. Like it's like way easier to deal with them that way than trying to play like a physical melee fighting class. But
Really, that's interesting.
but I am playing a melee class as well, so I'm doing both. I've been playing about 3 to 4 classes so far. I'm planning to level as many jobs as I can, so I'm not really going to be focusing on one for the most part. But I do really like the mage though in this game. The first mage you get. I want to try black mage next because I just unlocked it. I think. So the classes are really cool though. I really enjoy what they did with the classes. This is where the game has a lot of depth. To me, is like the classes are all really distinct and really different from each other, and I'm like kind of fascinated by how many there are. There's like supposedly 28 of them or something like that, and that is fucking crazy. And they all have like their own different play styles and fighting styles. That's like really fucking deep and kind of crazy that they put that much effort in. Um,
Yeah,
but I think what I will say though about the progression is that I do not like it in relation to Neo 2. I don't mind it on its own, but I think my problem with it in this game is that once you pick a class and you're leveling that job, the choices within the job trees are negligible at best. Like they're not because you're ultimately going to max them out no matter what. Like you can max out all the trees, and so when you can do that, choice doesn't matter. It really only matters in the interim of your journey to get to max, and that isn't very long in this game. That's only a few missions, generally speaking. So, um, but the choice is what classes you decide to play in what order. That's really where your choices are. So, um, it's not bad. It's fine. I'm just like relative to Neo 2, I prefer Neo 2 system a little bit more. To be honest, I found the choices and the skill trees in that game a little bit more meaningful, generally, and actually a little bit more clear cut too. This game has weird shit in the skill trees, like weird percentage buffs and stuff, and some of them it's not clear what they do at first blush. So I do find that a little weird. But in terms of the actual combat, the mechanics of fighting, I find it pretty snappy for the most part. Outside of regular enemies, I found the bosses to be really enjoyable so far. The 2 or 3 I've fought, they are well designed, and they don't have those weird attack patterns that the normal enemies do. They're more straightforward. And that's not to say they're easy. The first boss in the first level, that one from the demo, is God. He took me like a fucking hour to beat, dude. He was kicking my ass. Like, so it's cool in that way. I'm enjoying the game. I think it's definitely like of a lower quality than what they were doing with Neo 2. Neo 2 is like a really fucking well-made game, like from front to back, all around to music design, aesthetics, level design. Because that's the other thing with this game. The level design in this game mostly so far sucks. Like the levels are
yeah,
boring,
that
dude.
that is so true.
They're just straight lines with little branching corridors here or there. There are no like secret rooms. There aren't secrets like there were in Neo 2 from what I've seen so far. There's not much to like find. I don't find exploring to be exciting in this game. So that's another issue with it, that I'm seeing as well, compared to Neo, definitely. So that's a little disappointing. The gear is another thing. So I like the gear in this game. However, I don't like the menus surrounding gear. Dismantling gear is a cumbersome process in this game compared to Neo, where it was a little bit more. It was a little easier to facilitate. I think I'm still too early in the game right now, so all the gear that's dropping is relevant to me. Like it could be relevant to me. Later on, I'm sure the lower rarities are going to be fucking useless for the most part. So I can just dismantle anything under a certain rarity. But right now, it's a little cumbersome because I'm having to look at like everything to find the best stuff to put on. But
Well, they got the so it's actually pretty decent. From when I was looking on the Reddit and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I say until you get to chaos, just auto assign yourself. It auto assigns you to the best gear and stats for the whatever class you're doing, even for little shit.
Yeah,
And just
yeah.
keep
So
doing
what
that.
I saw with that though, like it was just putting on the highest level item. It wasn't putting on what I would consider the best. It was it seemed like really not it wasn't that optimized, at least from what I was seeing. So for somebody who's really OCD about that kind of stuff, I will admit I do see the merit, even if it is doing what I'm saying. Like I may just do that anyways because I don't find the gear to be that impactful so far. To be honest, like I'm not seeing huge differences in my character's effectiveness with better gear. So I may just do it anyways. But I think the other issue I have is the multi-classing. Is if you're trying to play more than two classes at the same time, keeping track of your gear between those is really cumbersome because the game will not lock items that aren't currently equipped. You would have to do that yourself manually,
Hmm.
and that's definitely a cumbersome element to it as well. So I mean, I'm gonna play more. My brother's downloaded it. I'm gonna be playing co-op with him. I think I don't know how much solo I'm gonna do until later. So my opinions here may change on some of this stuff. I have a feeling this game is gonna be really fun in co-op actually. So I am looking forward to that for sure. But yeah, those are my impressions so far. I mean, anything sound off to you, Montreal? Am I
Uh,
completely wrong?
I would I would say just not really care about the gear. I mean, keep equipping the best gear, but
Yeah.
I would just use the auto thing until you get to chaos mode. That's
Hmm.
literally what everyone else says. Like they said, and it's like the most optimal way to play. I know it's not like the best thing to do as far as fun, but I wouldn't break my neck over that.
I mean,
Another thing
I
is you
like I
can
said, I agree with you. Like I'm not, I think I'm just gonna start doing it because I'm not. I like I said, I'm not seeing huge differences in gear. Like quality.
yeah.
So
And then the second thing is you can set up actual like I don't want to say sliders, but like algorithms or I guess filters for it to auto disassemble your gear, and they have like very specific stuff for you to
yeah,
do it.
I do need to set that up. Actually, I saw
Yeah.
that. I haven't messed with it yet. I don't think it's unlocked right away. Like it
Oh,
just
maybe yeah, maybe
yeah, it
not.
just popped up a tutorial for that after my last main mission. So I do need to mess around with that too, for sure. But yeah, that's all I've been playing. So what have you been playing, man?
Um, I don't really have too much to say. I mean, they just did a mini rework of League of Legends where they made the durability more better, so the games can last a little bit longer
Wait, what
because
do you
people were
mean?
complaining.
Like
So
characters are tankier or something?
yeah, they reworked the entire game. So like all the characters have like stat growth as far as health and armor.
Yeah.
It's uh it's better, and um they did that for every character in the game, like literally every character.
Okay.
'Cause people were just complaining that and I agree that there's too much fucking damage in the game. Like assassins will fucking, even though that's their job, but it was to the point where they were like one shotting sometime fucking tanks.
Well, dude, that was my
Eh,
problem when I was playing with you a few months ago. Remember that? Like I felt like
yeah,
I felt like when I was playing a damaged character, when I was falling behind at all, like dude, I was just getting blown the fuck up. It's like I didn't even stand a chance in some of these fights. So
yeah, and that's what a lot of people are complaining about. And even if you were up, if you get a character like high ratios or whatever, AP or AD, like they
mhm.
can still destroy you. If I was like a level 14 character and they're a level 10, sometimes they can still destroy you depending on their ratios. So they and then it was just a lot of hitting like damaged stuff that would go. Like there would be certain things where I'm there's still I'm still getting dot damage, and I'm like, what am I getting dot damage from? And then the kill feed doesn't tell you because there's so much damage in the game that's coming from other random sources. So they scaled a lot of that back. So
Okay.
hopefully the game will be a lot more enjoyable because it was actually pretty toxic, to be honest with you. Um, and I wasn't having too much fun. So I mean, I'm having fun now. But besides that, like I'm glad they actually did a whole rework of the entire game. I mean, it needed it. So
I may check it out
um,
again.
you say what?
I said I may check it out again.
Yeah. And I've been playing Apex. I haven't played it in like a week since I moved, so nothing really too much to say about that. And I've been playing Rise. Man, like I was getting my ass beat like a couple of games like yesterday,
Hmm.
and it was really weird. Like I don't know, like the damage on the high rank. Maybe it's because my gear was ass, but I don't remember it being like that on fucking
Yeah, I think your gear's ass,
Switch.
dude. Like, cause
Yeah,
I was taking some of the same hits, and I wasn't even like really sweating it much. So yeah, I
yeah,
think it was just gear. You might have had resistances that were bad against the particular monster we were fighting, or monsters.
yeah.
So I'm sure
But
that'll be
besides that,
alleviated
like
quickly.
I'm probably just gonna farm some gems, because I do notice gems for certain things. Um, and I'm trying to like branch into other weapons. So I'm really digging the longsword because it has a counter feature and I like the counter stuff. And I found the Tigrex, even though that Tigrex is insanely weak, I find characters like that rush a lot. I can counter them and go right through them, and
Yeah.
it works really well for me. Instead of like using the hammer, even though the hammer has a counter on it, it's just not as reliable as the longsword one. So um, I'm going to continue playing and just gem farm because the gems will be useful in G rank. I don't think anything else like talisman and stuff like that. I don't think that would be
Yeah, I
useful.
think talismans will be like they'll be useful for a while in G rank, but they won't last you until end game, right? You'll replace them eventually. I do think if you get one that's really good though, it'll hold you over for a while. Definitely. Like if you got like a 3 slaughter with like attack 2 and like weakness exploit, like, you know, that's going to be hard to replace, you know.
Yeah.
But it depends though. What I'm actually thinking about it. What I'm interested to see, and this is kind of my thing with what we were talking about earlier the other day on Discord about them making things obsolete, is that this game only has 3 ranks of gems, which is pretty normal for Monster Hunter. That's usually been the typical size of gem slots is 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
However, I when I booted World back up, I forgot, dude, that game had 5 levels of gem slots. So it went through 1 through 5. So you could have a level 5
Oh.
gem. And I'm actually kind of wondering if they're gonna do that in Sunbreak with Rise. Is up the level to 5, and then the old gems will still be useful, of course, but there will be new tiers of gems. Like a new
Hmm.
tier of gems that like there'll be level 4 gems that give you like 2 attack or something, instead of the level 2 that gives you 1, you know, stuff like that. So I will be interested to see what they do there. They may do nothing. I may be wrong. They may just keep it the same way it is now and not add anything. But I'm actually been thinking about it. I'd actually be kind of surprised if they did nothing, with that. So
Yeah, I don't know. I think they might or might not. Um, I just hope the content's there. That's the only thing. Like, I just hope there's a plethora of monsters and
mhm,
uh lands to visit and everything like that. Because
tons of
even though
weapons.
I'm liking Rise right now,
Yeah.
I still think it's just still lacking a lot of content. It's kind of wild.
It is funny, dude. Like we haven't played it in a year, and there really isn't that much more than there was when the
Yeah,
game came out, dude. It's like it's in my opinion a really bad like high rank, version of the game. Like it's one of the
yeah,
worst ones I can remember, to be honest.
yeah, and that's why I dropped the game so quickly. I can't really understand how the game got so much praise. Like the Monster Hunter community loves this game, and if you say anything bad about it, you're a hater or you don't like the game or you're not a true Monster Hunter fan. And I just don't remember. And maybe it's because over here I didn't get too far and try, but because try was just fucking terrible. But maybe because since try they've released nothing but the U versions of the game
Mm-hmm.
or the GU versions of the game,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm used to that.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. Even base world had a lot of shit. It's just the monster variety was ass, but it still had a lot of monsters, a lot of shit to do. Had or not apex, but they call
Tempered.
them
Yeah.
tempered monsters and uh arch tempered monsters and all that shit like that. So I don't know. I'm really not a fan of the rampage quest. Hopefully that shit is not
It'll be there.
like a
Don't
big
worry.
deal.
It'll be there. Don't you worry.
I hope not, man. That shit is terrible. It's not fun. Like
No, it
it's
is
just
not.
not.
It's not fun.
I don't know how they can. It's like the concept looks. sounds really cool on paper. Like you're fighting with a whole bunch of NPCs, and maybe that's the thing. Maybe if they had a whole bunch of NPCs, like not just the ones that stand on turrets, but like that actually fight with you, like other
Well,
hunter NPCs.
yeah.
I
Remember,
know, I know that's the thing they're gonna.
they've been showing the quests where you can take NPCs with you.
Yeah,
In the I think in the village. So maybe they'll have rampages like that too that you can do. And that will be
I hope
cool
so.
if that's true. I mean, I
Yeah,
like the fact that they're dabbling in this. I think companies are starting to realize that players, while that people do like multiplayer, I think people like the game more. And
exactly.
if they could play the game without needing to play with other people, I think that a lot of people would choose that option. And because you can see this with like Final Fantasy 14,
I was just about to say that.
they
Yeah,
just added the trust stuff for Realm Reborn dungeons, and they are going to be adding Heavensward and Stormblood, and that game's story will soon be completely soloable without any need to play with anyone else. And that is coming. So in that game, and I think that's fucking awesome. To be honest, like I think that's great because it's when you play through that game, it's a Final Fantasy game, and I think Monster Hunter going in that direction makes sense as well. um,
yeah.
I don't hate the idea.
Yeah, because if I want to play, like that's another thing that's disappointing. Like there isn't a offline version of the high rank quest.
Yep.
Like sometimes I do just want to play the game while you guys are doing other stuff. Like I just want to play by myself, but the high rank monsters have so much HP that it's not even viable to play by yourself at all.
It is when you get better gear. Like I'm at the point with my gear setup that I'm like killing high rank hub monsters by myself in about 15 minutes, I'd say. So it's doable, and I'm sure it's going to get faster from there as I like optimize. But when you first start out in high rank, dude, it's fucking miserable. Like it's 30 minutes, 35 minutes to kill like a fucking Izuchi, you know?
And that's what I'm saying. Like that shouldn't be the. It wasn't the case like that in World. Like they
Yeah,
had more health, yes,
yeah.
but I don't know. World was just a lot more optimized as far as like single
The
player to
balance was
multiplayer.
better.
Like
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like when I was hunting a monster, and then when you were hunting, if you weren't with me, like I can hunt the monster soloable. It was soloable. But then when you came in there, it just felt balanced to hunt the monster, and the health went up. It just I don't know. It just felt really balanced. It felt like they really tried. With
Right.
this, it was like an afterthought.
Yeah, it's weird. The scaling I find to be strange because yeah, in World, like right, like if it took you 10 minutes to kill a monster on your own, and then I joined you, and I had the same level of gear, it still basically took us 10 minutes to kill the monster. It's
Yeah,
like it was like the same, but in Rise, it's like the opposite. Like when I'm by myself, I'm killing things faster by myself than when I do hunts with you guys. Like when I'm doing hunts with you guys, it takes us like 25 or 30 minutes. Like the health balloons to an insane fucking level, dude. Like it's a little over the top. Like I was fighting a Narwa earlier by myself, the final Elder Dragon from the base game, and I was killing him in 14 minutes on my own. And
yeah.
with others that takes like 20 or 25, dude. It's like why would I even do it with other people then? It's like it's kind of weird. It's like I find it a little frustrating, because yeah, it's like that should be balanced, between the two, but it's kind of not in Rise. So I don't know. Maybe G rank will be better. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe they'll rebalance the game. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully. All right, Macho. Let's move into the news. We got a lot to talk about this week. A very meaty show. We have multiple weeks of news to catch up on. So we're gonna start with some news that's happened. This is like over 2 weeks ago now, but we've been holding it because this is a big topic. So we talked about this a few months ago that EA was talking about, moving forward without the FIFA license, and FIFA was teasing that they may break their contract with EA. So this is official. This happened, right? FIFA and EA are no longer going to partner on soccer video games. So EA's football game is going to be football game is now going to be called EA Sports FC Football Club, and that will start in 2023. This year's game will still be called FIFA. It will be FIFA 23. Next year's game will be EA Sports FC 24. I would suspect. Uh, so along with this comes some context that FIFA has said, well, let me read the statement here. Let's see. Yeah, the statement from FIFA, right? So FIFA issued a statement here. Gianni Infantino, who is the governing body president of FIFA, said, quote, I can assure you that the only authentic real game that has the FIFA name will be the best one available for gamers and football fans. The FIFA name is the only global original title: FIFA 23, FIFA 24, FIFA 25, and FIFA 26, and so on. The constant is the FIFA name, and it will remain forever and remain the best. End quote. That was his response to this news. And I I just want to overall thoughts, Montrell. So I find this fucking hilarious, dude. Like this whole situation, there is such clear bad blood between these two sides. EA has been talking for months. This was highly telegraphed, right? We knew this was coming. I feel like this was really obvious that this was going to happen eventually. But EA has been talking about how they don't need FIFA. They don't need the FIFA name. It's literally just the name. That doesn't block their ability to do anything related to licensing with teams, players, any of that stuff, right? But it does limit their ability to license with brands like Nike and others. And it also restricts their ability to do certain modes or explore different kinds of gaming models for FIFA because of this contract that they have with FIFA, the organization. From FIFA's perspective, they're saying, fuck you, EA. FIFA is going to be the best game regardless of who's making it. And it's just hilarious because that's not how gaming works, right? They're not going to go they're not going to go partner with someone else, which we're going to talk about this in a second. It's not like they're going to go partner with Konami or fucking Take-Two and suddenly that game is going to be better than FIFA, like what EA is making, you know? Like no, the core foundation of the game that EA has made is staying. That's not going anywhere, right? They're still going to be making the same like soccer game that they've been making for 25, 30 years now. And whatever FIFA's going to do is going to be basically building something from the ground up. And I'm sorry, but that's not going to be instantaneously good, more than likely. Now, I will say there will be some brand confusion suddenly where if 2K makes a FIFA game and that's on the shelves, people are going to buy it just because it's got FIFA on the name because they're not going to know that this shit happened, you know? And then they're going to go home and they're going to boot it up and they're going to be like, what is this? You know, this isn't FIFA, you know, they're going to be so confused. So that'll be interesting to watch play out. But I mean, Montreal, what are your thoughts here? Like this is a huge deal, honestly.
Uh, I think they sound like a bitter ex. Like it sounds like a real bitter ex. Um, and yeah, you're totally right. You can't just make a FIFA or you can't just make a soccer game. You can't just like, oh, it's going to be the best soccer game ever. And it's like, yeah, you don't know how gaming works because the first game always kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Especially in sports games, like that first game always sucks. And then they improve, they build upon it. It took years for FIFA to get where it's at, even though a lot of FIFA players, you ask FIFA players, like you ask Madden players, the game fucking sucks, but this is the only game they have to play. So it is going to be interesting to see how EA football does compared to like the next FIFA game. But we don't even know the next FIFA game can be like 4 or 5 years out from now, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone can pump out a game within a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think FIFA themselves, the organization, they don't understand that because EA has been doing this for so long, and they can pump out a game for a year because they already have like the same assets in place and everything like that. But they don't understand that because they're like boomers, you know. So yeah, it's gonna be super interesting though.
Well, so yeah, to me they have like FIFA has three options, right? They go to Konami and Konami turns eFootball into eFootball, FIFA eFootball or something like that. And you know, that game's going to be whatever it is. Whatever it is today, and they're going to move forward with that, you know, and that'll be received however it's received. Or we haven't talked about this yet, but 2K, like we didn't mention this last time we talked about this, but yeah, 2K is definitely in the running here to get this license and start making soccer games, you know. They've never made them, as far as I know. And this would be, dude, this is the part of the story that I find, this is the part that's huge, right? I don't think EA and FIFA like leaving each other is really that big of a deal. Like, obviously, the brand is big, but it's, it's the game's still going to be there, right? But if suddenly this change, though, causes another player to enter the ring in this realm, that's where this gets very, very, very interesting to me, because suddenly you have three soccer games all competing with each other, and this is exactly what we want in the American football realm with Madden, right? Like FIFA fans are getting what we want for Madden, right? Like I want there to be three different football, like American football games. It's fucking
Yeah.
frustrating that there's only one and we can't do anything about it. It's like these fans suddenly are going to be getting soccer games competing with one another, and that's actually going to force EA to make a better game. So I do find it interesting that EA is so like adamant about not caring about the FIFA name, because if it results in competition coming in, how smart is that in the long term? I don't know. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out for sure. But to talk about Take Two real quick, which is they own 2K, who does the 2K sports games. Strauss Zelnick, who is the CEO of Take Two, was asked in an interview about partnering with FIFA, and he said that we're definitely interested in expanding our opportunities in sports, and FIFA has a great brand and incredible clout, but we have no current plans to discuss. And then he says, we're excited about building out our sports business, and we don't have much else to say at the moment, end quote. So he didn't give up anything there, right? But I feel like this is the likeliest outcome, is that Take Two makes the next FIFA game, whatever that is. Um, they could already be developing it now. If this was known that this was happening, you know, like there's a chance that they could have been working on this game already in secret with FIFA. And maybe it'll come out next year. Well, that would be very interesting, because if there's no break in FIFA coming out, that's where people will get confused, right? Like if there's actually a FIFA 24 next year, people will buy it just assuming it's the next FIFA game. So um, that is definitely the interesting part. I mean, Montreal, what do you think the likelihood is that Take Two gets involved here?
Um, I think it's very likely, but not for a couple of years. And I
Okay.
think that's why he made that statement, because they probably do have something in the works. They probably got like a test build they're going to pitch to FIFA. FIFA probably still looking to see who would do it for them. You know what I'm saying? They probably getting test builds and everything like that.
Yeah, and I
So,
mean, to be fair, FIFA did mention too that they have games outside of EA that are going to be coming out. Like there's a World Cup game, I believe, coming out this year that isn't made by EA, or if it is, it's still coming out. And then they also mentioned a game around the Women's World Cup next year as well. Um, so it seems like FIFA is eager to continue their partnerships with video game studios, but it just won't be EA. So we will see how this plays out going forward. I will be monitoring this for sure. I am highly interested to see how this ends up. Um, you know. So, all right, let's move on. We have another EA story. We actually have a lot of EA news this week. It's a very EA centric episode of the show. So there was a report from Puck News that EA and NBC Universal was very close to merging with each other.
mhm,
And this deal dissolved in April of this year.
thank God.
They couldn't agree on the structure of the business post merge and some of the financials related to the merge, and that's why the deal fell through. However, they also mentioned that EA is now in the works, interested in looking at Disney for a similar deal. I don't know if it would be a merge in that case. It might be an acquisition of some sort. I mean, Disney's way bigger, but that would be interesting. They were the report mentions that they want to work more closely with Disney in a non-licensing capacity. So that would definitely open a lot of things up for them if they were part of Disney, in terms of their gaming brands, what they could do with games. and Disney's brands. But this would have been a huge move. It's just interesting. It feels like EA now is like it's almost guaranteed they're going to be acquired or merged with somebody in the coming months slash year or so. You know, it's just continuing this trend of mergers and acquisitions and consolidation within the entire industry that has been happening the last few years, but especially the last several months in particular. So, Montreal, do you think a merge with Disney would be good for EA or bad?
Bad. Just imagine Mass Effect owned by Disney.
I mean, what do you mean?
Yeah,
What do you think that would look like?
it would never come out. We would never. They would kill the brand because it's competing with Star Wars at this point.
They'd make a Star Wars game. I mean, Bioware's done it before, I guess, technically. So
No, I think they'll just kill the brand in general. Like EA doesn't even know what to do with the brand, or you know what? Maybe they bring the brand back. I don't fucking know. I don't like the idea of Disney owning EA. That's too much. And then they'll own Battlefield,
yeah,
they'll own Dead Space,
yeah.
they'll own all these IPs.
Sim City, The
I
Sims,
yeah, I just and Disney doesn't really have a studio, but I can only imagine like all they care about is the money, right?
yeah.
And it'll be even worse than what EA is going through right now, in my opinion. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know. It's just not a good look. I don't like the idea of them owning EA. That's just too big of a cloud. I don't want the idea of anyone owning EA. I would still want EA to remain their own entity.
I
I
agree.
don't want Sony to own them. I don't want Xbox to own them. I don't want anybody to own them.
Right. I don't want
That's
Xbox to
just
own Activision Blizzard either. Like,
Yeah, and that to me is still a big chunk of the industry that's just gone now, in my opinion. Like
yeah,
that's a huge chunk,
yeah,
and them buying EA will be another fucking huge chunk. And I don't want that, and I don't want Disney. Disney. Don't get me wrong. The games they have came out with for Disney, like Epic Mickey, like Disney has a good rapport of making games or getting people to make games for them.
Disney
Like I think
Infinity.
Disney Infinity was really good. I think Epic Mickey was really good. So when they do put their hands in gaming and they find a studio to make their game, they do a really good job.
I like that you didn't mention Kingdom Hearts.
Oh fuck yeah, Kingdom Hearts. I mean, I don't really count Kingdom Hearts as their shit,
Yeah,
but because
yeah.
I feel like Nomura came to them with that idea and they're like, fuck yeah, let's do that. Um, just to expand Disney eastward, which is funny, but I feel like the only reason why EA is doing this for some weird reason, I feel like this is kind of some kind of redemption arc from how they handled the Star Wars games
Yeah.
and how they just mishandled that franchise in general and
Hmm.
the IP of that. It just mishandled. Like if you think about it, they really fucked up Star Wars. Like how can you? And everyone's saying, how can you fuck this franchise up? There's so many avenues you can go, and they literally had the worst track record with it.
Yeah.
And I think EA is trying to. I don't know. Maybe it's some weird thing they're trying to fix. I don't fucking know. Or maybe if they feel like, and I feel like too with EA, their reputation is so bad. They feel like if they get bought out by someone else, that reputation will go away.
Hmm.
Because now you're on the Sony, like EA is owned by Sony, like Sony would get them together, or I wouldn't say that for Xbox, or Disney would probably get them together because Disney. Uh, I will say this about Disney: if something's not working, they will easily pull the plug, restart, and try again. Like they would try a whole
True.
different formula.
True.
I will say that they did it with the movies. I mean, you saw that they're doing it with
Hmm.
Star Wars. Obviously, the trilogy didn't work out, but now they're making good series, TV series, and everything like that. And even with the superhero shows and stuff like that, like we thought, like I thought, oh, it's gonna be like kiddified and everything, but Moon Knight is anything but kiddified, and that's a really good show, and that's under Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, don't say
so
that. Don't tell people who are fans of the Netflix shows that, man. They announced a new Daredevil show. Like, is it's going to be happening with Charlie Cox and the existing some of the existing universe from Netflix, but we don't know if it's going to be a continuation or a reboot yet.
mhm.
But man, people are cynical as fuck about that, dude. They fucking hate Disney with these shows. They're like, man, there's gonna be no gore, there's gonna be no blood. Like, man, people are like fucking. I'm like, Jesus, man, like,
I
calm
mean, did
down.
we watch Moon Knight?
Apparently not. I don't know. I heard that show is pretty brutal.
Yeah, like did we not watch that show? I don't
Yeah,
know. That's a weird take.
I saw it a lot though with that. So
Yeah. I mean, that's a weird take. I understand it because I had the same reserves, but after watching Moon Knight, I don't think that would be Moon Knight is pretty much PG 13 ish, but in some places it could go rated R. There is a
mhm.
lot of blood, but there isn't a lot of guts because I mean, what it's Moon Knight. I mean, I don't even think the comic has, you know, that type of gore in it. It's not like the Punisher or anything like
Yeah,
that. But it is very much Moon Knight to the comics where he's cussing a lot. They're exploring different avenues of like psychotherapy and all this other shit like that, psychosis and everything. So I mean, it's very mature concepts that you can't just pitch to a fucking 14-year-old and
hmm,
you expect them to understand it. Um,
yeah.
so I don't know. That being said, bringing it back to video games, uh, I may recant some of the statements. Maybe it is a good thing they get acquired. It's just one of those things you got to see. Like
I don't know.
maybe,
It could go either way, and
yeah,
with either
yeah.
way this goes, it could go 50. I'm 50-50 on both directions, right? EA on their own has been hit or miss, right? They've had some decent games, some good games, but they've also had some really horrible games as well, and they've closed a ton of studios that, like, I'm sorry, but they shouldn't have closed. And they probably regret closing them at this point. And then on the other side, if they got purchased by Disney, I could see it going horribly wrong. Where, like you said, like, Disney comes in and does away with all of VA's IP and starts making them make Disney games, Disney IP games, and that's all they do except for the sports stuff. And it's like, or it could be the other way around too. They could really encourage EA to explore their IP catalog and try shit that EA themselves, didn't really want to try. So there, I could see it happening either way. I think the thing that I want to say though, regardless of what happens here, is that these big players, there's a lot of rumblings about this going around lately, specifically around Activision. People have been saying Microsoft was competing with some big players to get Activision. I think Activision was, for whatever reason, on the radar of a lot of companies, and those companies being Disney, Amazon, Google, these big tech companies. They are looking to get in the industry, dude. Like, and they're gonna do it at some point. So it's like this might be Disney's way in. Amazon and Google, we'll see what happens with them, but I mean they're coming. They're interested, and I think there's targets for them. Even if EA goes away, Ubisoft will still be out there. Big publishers like Square Enix would still be out there. So there's still some options. Embracer, of course, Embracer Group is out there.
Yeah, I
Um,
will say like one last thing. Like I will say this could be this like the 50-50 thing, right? So I was pretty negative, but this could be the reboot that EA needs because they are obsessed completely, and we know this, we all know this. They're completely obsessed with multiplayer.
yeah,
How many games have they killed because they wanted to tackle on multiplayer? Like they just wanted to
bro,
tackle on multiplayer to
they
it.
fucking killed Sim City. Like Sim
Exactly.
City, they killed Sim City, bro. Like, and they killed Maxis. Like, ah, it's fucking insane, dude. Like, that is
So
absolutely insane.
so that being said, maybe it is that we get fresh pair of eyes and we get someone who's not solely obsessed with because I think Disney is still on like the whole units front, right? Well, as long as we got the units out there, they're obsessed with brand. As long as the brand is good, the brand is okay. The brand is good, or this is this with the brand, this with that with the brand. As long as the brand is doing fine, they're going to find ways to make money. And I think people coming into it or looking at it with a fresh set of eyes would be like, all right, they didn't do good with multiplayer on this front, on this front, on this front. Well, Battlefield is a multiplayer game, so we're going to keep it like that. Battlefront's a multiplayer game, so we're going to keep it like that. But let's look at how other avenues of Star Wars or Mass Effect or whatever the fuck works. instead of like going to this multiplayer front, because that's the reason why they're selling themselves in the first place, because obviously their reputation isn't good. So I think it's just really good to get a fresh pair of eyes on things, and hopefully the chips fall where they lay, and they see that the errors in the old company's ways, or it could be the same old business as usual type shit. Kind of
Mm,
like how when your company got acquired, they're changing shit and modernizing it, some for the better, and then a lot for the worse. Or whatever the case may be. I'm not there, so I don't know. But from
hmm
what I hear, but they are modernizing a lot of things that we like that people have been asking for.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
and the same thing with my company. Like we're the new IT team, and we're modernizing, and we're putting standards on things that needed to be held,
yep,
that wasn't there in the first place. And a lot of people were used to certain things. You have to tell them like, no, this is not the way things work. This is the way things work now. And that's needed. And I feel like with the leadership and with the direction of IPs, the way EA is handling their IPs, they're
hmm
sitting on so much fucking money, but they're obsessed with getting money one way. The beauty of Disney is they know how to get money multiple ways, and
yeah,
they know how to uh I would say look at it and say that's not working, let's try a different way. The only problem I have with it is the way they lead said project. Sometimes they have to fuck up really bad before they get it right. And we saw that with Star Wars. I don't really necessarily say Marvel, because Marvel was like Marvel Studios thing, and they perfected that out the gate, in my opinion. Like almost every movie was a hit. You know what I'm
hmm
saying? Like
yeah,
so. So I don't know. It's like you said, it's a 50%. It's a 50-50 thing. I just don't like the idea of Disney owning them, because like they're a huge conglomerate already,
hmm
and I just don't want them to have another stake, another
yeah. It doesn't
conglomerate
have to
stake.
be Disney, right? Any other
Yeah,
company, any company that acquires them could do the same thing, you know. So
yeah. I think I would be better if EA sold parts of themselves to other companies. That's okay.
yeah, sell
They
Bioware,
sold.
please. Somebody sell Bioware to somebody for the love of God.
Yeah, I think they should just go back to Microsoft, bro. Like I
Yeah,
think they're. I think I don't want to say they were a lot happier, but I feel like they were a lot more stable under BioWare, under Microsoft. Or fuck, go to Sony. Like I can see BioWare under Sony, and BioWare has
I mean,
outrageous
Sony.
ideas.
Yeah, Sony has an obvious need with what Bioware does. Like that is
Yeah,
a huge glaring blank spot in their first party catalog.
yeah, and I feel like Sony would allow them the time, because BioWare has very ambitious ideas. And I feel like Sony would be like, we like those ideas. We'll give you 7 years to develop a game, because we already have God of War, Last of Us, Ratchet and Clank, Spider Man. This is that and the third.
Yeah,
We already have these games lined up. So
right.
take all the fucking time you need to
Well,
perfect this
they
game.
would look at BioWare as an investment, I think. I don't think they would rush
Yeah.
them because, like you said, they have these other studios making great games and they're making them much faster than what BioWare does, but that's fine, right? When you have
Yeah.
15, 16, 17, 18 studios all making games, like one of them doesn't necessarily have to be making a game every 3 years, you know? Um,
Exactly.
so I could see that, but that's
Yeah.
you know, I mean, there's no way EA is going to let Bioware go though. It's funny, as bad as Bioware's rep has gotten, I still think they're valuable. And
Oh, 100%.
I think if they were out in the
100%.
open market, like I think there would be a lot of interested parties, to be honest. So,
Yeah.
as-
There's a lot of talent
assuming the
there.
IP went with them, the IP that they've worked on went with them, like Dragon Age and Mass Effect, of course.
Well, even if the IP didn't go with them, right? I think there's so much talent there. I mean, even that young team that did Andromeda, right? Like I should own Andromeda, but if that was like the first game in the series, people will love that game.
Yeah, true.
You know?
It's just they were flattened by the weight of expectations
Exactly.
for Mass Effect, right?
Because if you think about it, for a young team to do a game like of that caliber, and it's still pulling $400 million in the first couple of months, that's insane. So I don't think they got a fair shot. I think everything was, and even if you go back and look at the VODs and stuff like that for that game, they were kind of being shoehorned by the older folks. They're like, no, we got to do it this way. And they're like, well, how about we do this? And they kind of couldn't reach a threshold. But anyway, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens with like EA and everything like that nature. I find it interesting that they're trying to sell themselves. To be honest with you,
I mean, there's just so much money floating around right now. Like, why wouldn't you, dude? With the Activision getting $68 billion or $69 billion, like, fuck, like Jesus, sell, babe, sell. Like, be fucking desperate to sell at this point if I owned a company, like in
yeah.
games, So, all right, let's move on. We got one more EA story. This one maybe will be a little bit more fun. So EA released its financials. For last fiscal year, and they announced, or they noted in this report, that they have 4 titles in the works that will be out before the end of this current fiscal year, which will end March 31st, 2023. And those 4 titles are, now none of them are named, what they're calling a partner title, a remake, a sports title, and one is from a major IP. So kind of want to guess what do we think these are, right? The sports title. I'm going to float this one out here. This feels like the most obvious one. I think this is an NCAA football game. I think they're
Wait, what company is this?
EA. This is
Oh,
EA.
I don't know why I thought you said Capcom. I don't know
No.
why that was in my head. I have no idea why I thought. I
Well,
was
they
like,
were in the dock
what?
earlier, but I took them out. So
Okay, that's probably why I got it confused. That okay.
yeah. But yeah,
Um.
no, EA. I think
Oh, 100% NCAA.
I think it's
Yeah,
NCAA.
100%.
This has been rumored for a while. I think it's been enough time, and I think this is the year to do it. People are chomping at the bit, bro, for an NCAA
Just
football game.
objectively the best football game ever.
Yeah,
Like
that's
objectively.
that's what everybody says. It's funny. I don't even like college football, and I'm like, man, should I just play this NCAA game? Fuck Madden, like shit,
Yes,
man.
it's every time NCAA game came out, you can ask. Everyone says 100% NCAA was always better than Madden.
Yeah,
Madden always took with NCAA and tried to incorporate it. It was like the Monster Hunter games, but the opposite. The B team was just really good. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, yeah.
uh I don't know. Yeah. But and what was the other games?
So a remake was one of them. What do we think the remake could be?
I don't know. That can be something stupid. Let me think. Let me
Yeah,
think
I
of the most
mean that's
dumbest
a tough
shit.
one. I'm thinking like I don't know, something weird or off the wall like The Sims or something, or like Sim City, but it's like
Spore.
maybe, dude. Like, yeah, it could be something crazy like that. Some old PC title of theirs. I could definitely see that.
Command
Um,
and Conquer or not Command and Conquer. Rise and Nate was it?
no, it is
Which
Command and
one of the
Conquer.
mobile?
Command
That's
and
the mobile
Conquer.
game, right?
No, they did Command and Conquer. They didn't remake them, but they remastered them in the way that Age of Empires 2 was remastered. They
Okay.
did that last year, I think. So the game series that's coming to mind though is more on EA's racing side. There's two franchises I'm thinking of that a remake might be in. Burnout is one. We haven't had a Burnout game in a long time. Um, and the other is Need for Speed. Now, a remake for Need for Speed, I think if they were going to do one, would be Underground 1. That game is like fucking beloved in the Need for Speed fan base. And I love that game too. So I could see that, or maybe the original Burnout, maybe getting remade. So I feel like that's a little likelier than some of the other things I was saying, but um, they have a lot of racing pedigree now with Criterion. So, and Codemasters actually, especially. Um, so I don't know. What do you think? Any other games you can think of that might be a remake or
Um,
franchises?
maybe some of the big games, like SSX,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
NFL Street, NBA Street,
Yeah.
a lot of Fight Night. That's not a big game, but
Yeah.
uh, you know, one of those games. I mean, those are huge franchises um that just went dormant, and like EA never revisited them at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Um, Skate maybe.
Okay.
I can see
Yeah.
that coming back.
Oh yeah, that's a good call out actually with Tony Hawk, right?
Yeah, I can see Skate coming back because a lot of people were playing Tony Hawk and they were like, "Man, imagine if a Skate game came out."
Yeah.
So I can see that coming out.
I was
I'm
looking
trying to
at
think of.
I was looking to see, I didn't think this was EA, but you remember the backyard sports games?
Yeah, yep.
I was like, man, that would be fun. That would be fucking hilarious if they like remade backyard baseball. I used to love those games, man, as a kid. But no, it wasn't. It can't be those. They don't own the IP, so
Yeah, I mean, let's see. I'm trying to think what else they can bring back. I guess a lot of games they have actually under their
I
belts
mean, fuck
that they
Mass
can bring.
Effect, that'd be great, but it's definitely not that.
No, definitely not that. Fucking Mass Effect. I don't think
Maybe like
so.
Neverwinter Nights or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, you could do that on the Bioware side. I could see that. That'd be interesting. Um, okay, so they said one is from a major IP, and again, these are games that haven't been publicly disclosed, so we don't know about these yet. Like they haven't
Oh,
announced
okay.
them.
Here's one. He just made a remake of himself. Tiger Woods.
Mm. I don't think
Or
they can't do that because Tiger Woods is actually making games with 2K now. So
oh, okay, yeah, that's right. Okay,
yeah,
never mind then.
so that's off the
Um,
table.
and then I'll just say one more. Mirror's Edge,
Okay,
or
yeah, that's possible.
um, damn, I just saw it. Mirror's Edge, or Medal of Honor.
Okay, that's EA.
Yeah, Medal of Honor's EA.
Man, I didn't know that. Interesting. Okay, cool.
It just never did too well after Battlefield like took off.
Yeah.
They just didn't know where to take the series. Or Ultima Online.
I don't think EA would go down that road. Unfortunately. What about the major IP? What do you think? What do you think there?
So what was their goal with the major IP? I'm sorry.
Well, so it's going to be out by the end of their fiscal year this year, so March 31st,
Oh, that
2023.
may be the Potter game. Oh
Uh,
no, these are
no, that's
unannounced.
WB.
Oh fuck. You know what? Because EA did used to make the old Harry Potter
Yeah,
games.
and this is unannounced, so it's not Dragon Age, it's not the Mass Effect game from BioWare. Like it's stuff we don't know about.
Mm. Do they still own the James Bond titles?
No.
Okay.
No, James Bond went to IO Interactive actually. The
Okay.
Hitman team. They're making a
Oh
James Bond game.
yeah. Oh yeah. I can't wait for that shit. That shit's
Yeah.
gonna be fucking
No,
good.
so I have an obvious and easy answer for this. And I think
Which
it's
one?
unfortunately like it's a good one, but I think it's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2. They
Oh, but
haven't
that's announced, right? They
no,
haven't officially
they
announced it
haven't
yet.
officially announced that game. Yeah. We know
Okay.
it's in
Yeah.
development, but yeah, I think that's the answer. Like I could see it. It's because it will have
Well,
been 3 years, right?
yeah, they do have some good news that leaked. Like that you'll be playing another character, like switching between Cal and then another character. So I am glad about that.
Yeah.
Because Cal is such a boring character. But yeah, that's cool. I mean, whatever.
And the partner title could be literally anything, so that one's not
Yeah, I'm
worth
not about
guessing.
to.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
they could be working with anybody on that. So, all right, well, let's move on, Montreal. We're out of EA land now, and into PlayStation land for a little while. So Sony had an investor call today, and amongst that, there were a lot of things that came out of it. But the first one I want to touch on is Sony officially announced 3 new PlayStation production series in development, and these are their television endeavors. So there is a Horizon show coming to Netflix, a God of War show coming to Amazon, and there is a Gran Turismo show with no service attached to it. Like it's not announced who they're partnering with yet on that.
Okay.
So Sony's going a little crazy now. We got a Twisted Metal show. We got The Last of Us on HBO. We've got Uncharted movie. There's a lot of PlayStation shit coming out. They're working on a lot of stuff now. They're hitting all angles with this transmedia stuff. What do you think? These three? Do you think there's a chance in hell
All
that
right.
any of these are good?
No. The only reason I say no, no, I'm being honest, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so this is hard to say without being biased, but I think the Halo show is one of the greatest examples of this. Um, that show isn't particularly good,
Mm-hmm.
only because they decided to remaster or remake some stuff, right?
Didn't Master
Because
Chief
we
just
are.
have sex in like one of the latest episodes? Like, come on, dude. What are we
You say
doing?
what?
Didn't Master Chief
Oh
just like have
yeah,
sex in like one of the
I
last episodes? Like, what
I
the
think
fuck?
so.
Like, what the
I
fuck?
got stopped watching after the third episode. But
Like, don't the Spartans like not have a sex drive in the Halo universe? I don't.
they can't even reproduce, bro. Like that's
Yeah,
crazy.
I don't.
So that right. So there are certain scenes, right? There are scenes in it's like the animation team, the people who do the choreography, and then the people who write the story are two totally different teams. Because the choreography, bro,
Mm-hmm.
is good as fuck. There's certain points where you're like he's fighting people, like he's doing Master Chief shit, like book accurate Master Chief shit, right? And then like they'll switch to first person and showing them shooting and everything like that in first person. Then they'll go back to like a third person view and shit like that. It's so fucking dope. Then you get to the story and it's like, what the fuck? And they don't understand. It's like the team doesn't understand. I know this is about Sony, but y'all gotta follow me. Keep going with me here. The reason why the Master Chief show or the Halo show is kind of bad right now is because they broke the most sacred thing of Halo. Master Chief takes off his helmet the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine God of War.
Mm.
I'm trying to think what's like the most iconic. What is he known for being? Like brutal, right? Like
Well,
he's known for being
the
brutal.
blades too. Yeah.
The Blades of Olympus, right? But he's known
Like
for like being. But like, what's his like signature? Like, Master Chief was like he never removed his helmet, right? So what's like Kratos' thing? I'm trying to think like
Athena. That's the signature, dude. Athena.
okay, how about this? How about he kills Zeus the first episode?
Okay, yeah, that is a good equivalent. Yeah.
He killed
And you
like
find out he's Zeus's son in the first episode. Like,
yes, you find all this shit
yeah,
out, right?
yeah.
In the first fucking episode. We went through 3 games to find this shit. And like they're like, "Oh, well, we're going to do it in the first episode." Like his wife dies, he kills his family, spoiler alert, whatever. The game's been out for fucking 20 years. Go suck a dick.
It's in the
Like,
it's in the intro movie for the first game. Like, I don't think I could consider that a spoiler, dude.
yeah, but like still go suck a dick if you
Yeah.
didn't fucking play God of War.
I
don't
just
fucking
spoiled
know. Like,
the end of God of War. Like, he's Zeus's son, so it's like whatever.
So they kill his wife. I mean, he kills his wife, his family, pretty much. The first episode, and he kills his Zeus because he finds out, it was all a Zeus plan, and then Olympus like falls. The first or second episode, and you're like, what else is there? And they immediately go to like the new God of War, like that Kratos. We had no build up towards that Kratos.
Yeah.
We
have
don't
no
know
idea
the pain.
who he is. We don't understand his pain. We don't know anything about him. Yeah, like
I'll take it a step further. Last of Us show. Well, I mean, they're probably not going to do that because the characters they showed us screenshots of the characters.
I mean, that show might actually be good, dude.
Yeah, it might be good, but I'm just saying, like, imagine they do that first 2 episodes, like they skip past. We're already at the Firefly scene in the second episode, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, where are they going from here?
And then they like do some weird shit, right? Where they see Abby. We're seeing Abby grow up concurrently with like they're doing back and forth shit. They're going back from Abby to what's her fucking name? Ellie.
Yeah.
They're going back and forth between them two. And then like, I don't know.
Well,
Joel dies in the 3rd episode. Like
I just think I don't know. They do weird shit with these shows, right? Like even the Last of Us show, right? I do think that show is going to be good because it's on HBO.
That show's going to be good. I think that show's
only because it's on HBO. If it was anybody else, I wouldn't have any faith in it. But then you have weird shit where like Pedro Pascal is, he's playing Joel and he's literally giving interviews and he's like, people are asking him, have you played the video game? And he's like, no, I have no idea about anything related to the video game character. I don't want to, be influenced by that while I'm acting. And it's like, bro, like that's, I mean,
I think that's a good and bad thing.
Playing though, it's like you probably want to know the source material, right? Like, I don't know.
And see, that's the problem with Halo, right? Master Chief, like in the show, it's like
there's just no reverence for the source material with these shows, and that's the issue
like
with them.
So they kind of follow the source material in the Halo show, but it's just like, bro, they do it so weird. Like, why are we seeing Master Chief's face? The whole point of Master Chief is for you, the viewer, to be inside of. Well, that pause. Like for you, the viewer.
Oh shit! Oh man, that was a slip.
For you to be Master Chief, right?
Yeah,
Like, and even when we saw his face, like you had to earn that right to see his fucking face and Halo
that
4 or
was after
whatever.
like
You,
4 games. Yeah,
yeah,
well,
and you had
actually,
to
like
earn that
six
shit.
games. 6 games technically, right?
Yeah. So you had to earn that shit to see his face or whatever. And even when we saw his face, it was such a blank canvas because we saw the pain and he was bald and like we just saw all this pain on his face when we finally saw it. Um, so it's just like not to say bald is a bad thing because Kratos is bald and he's fucking magnificent, but like it's just like to
Yes, he
say
is.
like
Yes, he is.
he's been through a lot of pain, right? You can see all the hardship he's been through,
Watch out! You
and
you like kind
we
of
see.
you're kind of lusting after these video game characters right now. You know,
No, man, I'm just saying. I'm just
I mean,
saying.
you want to
Like,
be inside Master Chief.
oh
You
my
know,
fucking god,
Kratos
here
is
you go.
beautiful. I mean, I don't know, man. It's not, everything
There's
okay
nothing
over
wrong
there?
with the knowledge. There's nothing wrong with the knowledge and a beautiful man.
Okay,
There's nothing wrong with
I
that.
know. I agree. I totally agree. I know. It's, you know, it's a it's a little funny. It's back to back.
Yeah, I know that was pretty creepy. But so you got these games that are coming out, or you got the lore and shit coming out like that, and like Master Chief, for instance, like he takes off his helmet and it's this dude that looks like a fucking Chad meme, and you're like, bro, what the fuck is this? Like what is this shit, bro?
Yeah.
Like it's just not. Uh, I don't know, and that's what I'm afraid for because you said Gran Turismo. I think Gran Turismo would be cool if they can build a story around that. Like they can build their own original story off that.
Yeah,
I think that would be really
Horizon,
cool.
dude, I got no
But
faith. I have
Horizon,
no
and
faith in
I'm
that.
really fucking scared. And it's Netflix. Oh my god.
Yikes. Dude, God of War 2. Well, the thing with God of War is like, what do you do? Do you go to Greece and you tell the Greece story, or do you just skip ahead to the Norse story and tell that? You know, or do you somehow do this weird combination of the two, kind of what you were talking about? Like, I just,
They, I,
I
I
don't know.
guarantee you, bro. They're gonna do the combination thing. They're gonna instantly want the father son dynamic in the
Yeah,
show.
exactly. That's the part about it that I think they won't be able to resist is the father son dynamic that is so powerful in the 2018 game. But they can't have that unless they go to the Northlands. I mean, I guess they could do it in Greece, but it would be awkward, dude. Like
They
what would you think of the first episode? Right, he's in Greece and he's got the blades of chaos from Ares or whatever, and he's like fighting people, but he has a son. You know, like in Greece. In the Greek part of the storyline. It's like that would be such a face palm. Like, oh my fucking god.
depending on the length of the episodes, they can do at least the first two games in like maybe 7 episodes because they can cut out a lot of the filler, right?
You know what I
Um,
think they do is take a page out of Arrow's book and do flashbacks. You start the main story happens in the Norse timeline, but there's flashbacks to his Greek timeline in throughout the episodes.
I don't like that. The only reason I don't like that is because I don't think the viewer will understand this character
Yeah,
and the way he is.
you think they
Like even with the
build it
arrow,
up naturally?
yeah, even with the arrow, right? We understand that he went through a lot of shit, but it just worked out for Arrow better. I don't know why, but it did. But it still took for a while for me to click with it. His trauma and all the shit that he went through and everything of that nature.
Well, the payoff
Um,
took a couple seasons. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Um, but like I think they should just go with the traditional, like, have this dude be a fucking menace in the first season. Like he's just like ripping and tearing shit, and
yeah.
he is God of War 1 through 3, or if you want to say 1 through Ascension, if you want to be that guy. Um, and then second season comes out. Everybody knows Kratos as this fucking menace, like he's the Punisher, right? He's that guy. He's just like, man, fucking angry and all that shit like that. And then he comes out, and then he has Atreus the second season, and we're like, and the viewer, because we already know, the gamers already know, but the viewer's like, yo, like this is like a total 180. He's like like, and then fucking what's his name? What's the guy that can't feel pain? What's his name? Fuck.
Balder.
Balder comes, knocks on the door, and is trying to fight this dude. And we already seen him how he is in the first season. He's just like, maybe it take 2 seasons. So we see how he is in the first 2 seasons, and then the third season, he's just like, I'm not trying to fight you, bro. Please get from my doorstep. Today is
Or
not the
maybe
day.
you
My
just
wife
do
just
the games in order. Like you do God of War like 1, 2, and 3 of the first 3 seasons, you know?
I just don't want there to be a lot of filler.
Yeah. True.
I think it works well for The Witcher because The Witcher is based off the books and not the video games.
Yeah. 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 I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith
I,
in this, but
the God of War show is going to be really weird.
I'll
That's going to
probably
be really
watch it
weird.
though because I don't know. I like love God of War. I love that series.
I just think they're gonna do this weird like gladiator Troy cinematography with the show. I don't think it's gonna be the God of War we know. They're gonna turn it into like
something
Troy
else.
or fucking three
Political.
hundred or
Yeah.
something.
There's gonna be
Yeah,
human characters who do stuff like what the fuck? Who like there was no humans of any relevance except for Kratos and God of War. He would
yeah,
run
they're gonna
into
do
like
weird.
remember when he would run into like heroic figures from like Greek mythology, and they would be boss fights, and he would just murder the shit out of them. Like he'd run into who did he run? He ran into fucking oh my god, the fucking dude with wings. I'm forgetting his fucking name.
Fucking
Uh,
Arceus,
no, oh my god, what's his name?
Kid Icarus, right?
Icarus, is that right?
Icarus. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one who flew too far to the sun, right?
Yes,
And
and
then
he
melted his
rips his
land.
fucking wings off and takes them. Like that. It's fucking hilarious,
Well, what
dude.
about the dude where he rips his head off and turns into a lamp?
That's Medusa, dude.
Is that Medusa?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that's not Medusa. It's a dude.
Oh, you're thinking in the new game.
No, in the older games, he rips a dude's head off and turns it into a lamp.
Well, he rips off Medusa's head and uses it to turn shit to stone. That's like an ability you get.
Oh, man, I even make me look it up. It's a guy. I forgot. I think it's in like God of War 3, maybe.
Kind of want to play those games again.
Keep talking. I'm gonna look it up.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm thinking in the third game there was a guy with a shield. Was it was it Odysseus? I don't think so. Is that even Greek mythology? I don't remember. I think that is Greek mythology.
Helios. That's who it was.
Helios. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. No,
Yeah, like
there were just some funny bosses in those games.
now they can go. They can go the Game of Thrones route with this show. There is a lot of political intrigue. I just
Centered
don't want to
around
see
the
any
gods,
fucking.
yeah.
Yeah, I just don't want to see any fucking humans. Like I don't want this random fucking redhead beauty because you got the actress to play her and she got paid a lot of money to be like a main integral part of the show. I don't want that, please.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean, dude, this is an opportunity for them to actually make a show about the Greek gods, the pantheon of So, I actually think that's really interesting. Like that could be really cool. Like have we ever really had a show like that before? Where you actually
not to
have
my
like
knowledge.
Zeus as a character, Athena as a character.
No, not to my knowledge.
I think it'd be interesting. There's definitely political intrigue there, or could be political intrigue there. So I don't know. I think it has potential, but they have to do it the right way. All right, let's move on. More stuff from that investor call. This is just a bunch of random stats that I'm just going to kind of throw out there. Montrell, if you want to talk about any of these, just stop me and say what you need to say. So they were talking about PlayStation 5 in comparison to PS4 demand, and it is significantly higher for PS5. They said that PS4 was selling 80K units in about 9 days in the US. And with the PS5, they are selling 80K units in 82 minutes in the US. And this has more to do probably with the shortages than probably demand. Like the shortages are creating pent up demand that is just like it's like releasing when stock comes. People are fucking scrambling to get these consoles, but it is interesting to see how much more in demand it is. Because they did a survey in November as well, of 2021, and they were asked, a bunch of people, um, if they're interested in PS5, and 55% said they are, compared to 28% in November of 2014 for the PS4. So that was like a year after launch. They were comparing against. So, um, supply is still an issue. They're expecting supply to continue to be an issue. They are projecting to sell less consoles than last year, 18 million versus 19 million last year.
Hmm.
That is going to continue into the foreseeable future. Sony they also mentioned live service is going to be a key component for them going forward. So spend on PS5 software is 15% higher than PS4 when you compare, the time frame that the consoles were out, have been out. This one's been out compared to when PS4 was out at the same amount of time. Spend on software is 15% higher. And the growth is coming from DLC and microtransactions and subscriptions. So they also mentioned that they are selling less games overall, but they are getting higher engagement with DLC and microtransaction spending um, overall. So, which is interesting. Free to play is pretty big on consoles. This is kind of getting into why Sony is so eager to get their live service segment going recently. They also mentioned two games. They're planning two of their live service games will be releasing in 2022 this year. Before March 2023, so within the fiscal year. And these are not Destiny related either. So there will be two, and they are going to have 12. They reiterated that they're planning to have 12 live service titles by March 2026 as well. They also mentioned that mergers and acquisitions, they're going to continue to explore. So there may be more acquisitions on the horizon that we do not know about. Um, those are really the major things. The PlayStation production stuff we just talked about was also touched upon here as well. But anything major there, Montrell, jumping out to you?
No, not really. I mean, it's Sony shit. What
Yeah,
about you?
no, not really. I mean, it's just a health check, really, on Sony. Like, they're doing great. They're very healthy. Their business is as big as it's ever been. It's just, I think these supply issues are probably extremely frustrating for them. It is constricting their growth in a big way, and I think it is partially contributing to some of Xbox's success, because I think if Sony had enough consoles to meet demand, they would be significantly higher than where they are right now. In a record way than we've probably seen before. And I think that's got to be really irritating for them for sure. But
Yeah,
they said record revenue. So this past year for them. So they're still growing. It's not like they're stagnating or anything like that. But
yeah. I can't
um,
believe it's still hard to get a PS5. That's crazy.
yeah, it's weird, man. But Nintendo actually in their investor call recently said that they're expecting lower sales next year of Switch because of supply issues with silicon as well. So it's affecting everybody. It's not just Sony. It's a lot of. It's a
Well,
lot of.
what's interesting about this whole thing is like a lot of the sites and everything. Like Andy was trying to get a PS5, and there are still bots out there, but I don't know how the bots are programmed for different addresses because now you can only buy one PS5, at least for Walmart. You can only buy one PS5 per household. You can't buy three, four, five PS5s now. So I don't
Interesting.
know how they're doing it.
These people have
He
like
said
multiple addresses set up somehow.
like they have to be fucking rich because PO boxes cost money a month. I know it's not that much money a month, but to have multiple PO boxes going
Yeah, but why would you
as
do that though? If you can only do one per PO box, it's not worth it. Like
yeah,
you'd have to be sending it to different locations that you somehow control and have access to. It's weird.
yeah, it is weird. I don't know how they're doing it,
Or
but
there's
he
just
said like
enough of volume of bots that like they're all buying one, but they're
yeah, I
doing it
mean that's
super fast.
but it's just one PS5. So the bot, because some of these bots cost like $3,000 or $4,000. So it's like the value of the bot is not worth it anymore because now
Yeah, but
you're
they might
limited to
already
one.
have them though. That's the thing.
Oh, you think they're like doing it on multiple sites? So it is one address per site, pretty
Yeah.
much? Or yeah.
Well, they
Okay.
have the bots too. It's not like they have to rebuy the bots. They still have them, you know? So
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
it's like you
Yeah.
might as well just keep using it, even if you can only get one. You might as well just keep using it, you know. And then you on the
Yeah,
sites where
that's
you can
true.
get more than one, you're still getting money out of that too, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I think every site should adopt that one address rule. That's a pretty good rule because that'll cut down a lot and let the average Joe try to get a fucking console.
Yeah, I
I
think
just think
it's
they should ban
fine, even
bots.
if you're trying to buy multiple legitimately, like for multiple family members. Like, dude, just get the one and then get the next one on a different site. You know, it's like I don't think it's that
I
big
think
of
they
a
should
deal.
ban. I think bots should be illegal anyway, but that's probably too much government oversight for a lot of people. But I'm at this
Yeah,
point, bro. I'm done with bots. Like
yeah.
they're literally killing the industry now. Like obviously we can see, even though I think PlayStation's doing good, I think a lot of those units because a lot of the time when people don't buy those PS5s, bro, they send them back.
Hmm.
Like a lot of people don't know that when they can't sell the PS5s or get sell them enough to offshoot the cost, they have to sell them back
Yeah,
or return them.
yeah.
So
It just
I
makes
don't
me
know.
wonder how profitable it all is, though. You know, like the volume of which you'd have to be selling these PS5s to really be making good money off them to like go through all this effort is like, man, you got to be selling like hundreds, thousands of them, even, you know, to be really turning a profit because you're paying 500 plus tax on them, and then you are selling them resale. Depending on how you're selling them, like if you're selling them on something like eBay or something, they're taking a cut of that, you know,
Yep.
like a 10% cut or higher in some cases. Like PayPal has a cut too, I think, if you're selling through eBay as well. So it's like eating into your profits to the point that like you're probably only making 100 to 150 at most off a scalped console, you know, per
And I don't
unit.
think
And
not to mention you have to because you got to pay back their if you're using your credit card, you got to pay back the debt on your credit card.
yeah, right.
So that's going back. Yeah, I don't think it's worth it. I just
Well, and
you sell them
also
for
the other thing is at a certain point when you make enough money on eBay or some of these other resale sites, like, dude, you get a tax statement, like a W-2,
okay.
or not a W-2. I forget what it is exactly. It's a tax form. You get a tax statement, like you have to pay income tax on your sales. So, which is will further eat into that profit eventually too. So I just don't understand the logistics of this. I'd be fascinated to understand like how these people are actually making money, you know, on this stuff. Like are they selling it local with cash? Because if they're doing that, then they're making a lot of money that way, you know. I could see that. But then eventually though, they're gonna satiate demand in their local market, you know. Um,
Well, my thing is they still have to pay that money back on their card. So I don't get it. That's just me.
assuming they use a card, they may have enough money just sitting there to do it, you know,
Yeah.
saved up. Somebody's just doing it as an investment. So I don't know. But all right, let's move on. Our next story is another Sony story. This is from a few weeks ago. So we've been sitting on this one as well for a couple weeks now. So PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan, he sent out an email a couple weeks ago about, I'm sure everybody's aware of all the stuff going on about Roe v. Wade with the Supreme Court and abortions. He sent out an email. Bloomberg was reporting this, so we don't have the exact email. Bloomberg did not publish the email. We only have quotes that they released in this post. So they he in this email, and the crux of the email, the main thing that really happened here is it was supposedly a very weird email, but the main thing that came out of it that started to incense people was that talking about abortion, he was saying that we should respect opinions regardless of where you fall on this issue, basically like both sides have their own opinion and we should respect people's opinion regardless of what side they fall on. And um you know at first blush that sounds benign, sure, great, I think most people, like reasonable people, would agree with that. However, there is a tinge of um BS when you say something like that. You're really kind of pointing out the liberal side, how intolerant they are, and saying be tolerant to people that don't agree with you. So that in and of itself was one thing, right? That caused a little bit of a stir on the internet. That's not the part I care about. This whatever. People get upset about things all the time. The interesting part of this story is that Insomniac clearly had employees that were upset about this email internally to the point that Ted Price, who is the who runs that studio, had to address this, and they were basically squelched by Sony. They could not. They were told by Sony that they could not speak publicly about the issue, the Roe v. Wade and abortion stuff, and that the studio could not release a statement about it either, as a whole. So Insomniac decided to donate $50,000 to the Women's Reproductive Rights Assistance Project, and Sony is matching that 50,000, but they still cannot speak about it. They can just do the donation, and that is it. And Ted Price, in his email to the studio, said that there are times where they have to adhere to what Sony says. That's what it means to be owned, right? Like you have to listen to Sony at times. Like, and it's going to be in situations where you don't necessarily want to adhere to it, but that is just the reality of working for a big conglomerate like Sony. So then enter Bungie, right? Bungie is in the process of being purchased by Sony. They have historically been a very vocal studio on issues like this, social issues and other political issues. So they on Twitter started going off about this, saying that no one's going to muzzle us. We're, we're going to say whatever we need to say. And that seems to be the case. Sony's not shutting it down in any way. Now they don't have direct ownership of them yet. They can't they're not like in control of them per se yet. So it will be interesting to see in the future how this shakes out. That's really what I find interesting here is the way this was handled by Sony, the way it fell out with Insomniac, and then the way Bungie came out. There just seems to be there's a little bit of internal strife, within the Sony ecosystem. And I don't know, Montrell, what do you think about this? Do you think this is a big deal? Do you think this is just going to pass and nobody's going to care? Or do you think Sony's going to have to be more careful in the future with stuff like this?
I don't think Sony has to be careful. I think the studios themselves need to be more careful.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are just tired of, no matter what political spectrum you're on, like people are just tired of it.
Yeah.
Like I just want to play video games at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
and
so
it's not
that's
like a,
the point, isn't it? Why is Sony even talking about this at all, internally or otherwise? Like, nobody, like, you're right, dude. Like, I don't care what Sony thinks about abortion. I don't. Okay. Like, why does that matter? Like, I buy video games from them, It's like, what does that have to do with anything they're doing for me? You know? So that's the part that I like scratch my head about is like, why is Jim Ryan even sending this email out, dude? Like, I don't even get that. Like, why even bring it up, bro? Like,
I don't think the company should be. It's hard to say because, like, I guess since companies were ruled as individuals a long time ago,
yeah,
um, they can do whatever the fuck they want. But my thing is the people within those companies. So what if you're like, let's say this is an example, you're working for Chick-fil-A and
yeah,
you're like you're on the left side of politics,
yeah,
right? And we all
right,
know Chick-fil-A is like a right-wing conglomerate.
yeah,
Um, like just because I work for Chick-fil-A doesn't mean I agree with what they're doing. And I don't necessarily think they should be donating money. I mean, I guess because it's their money, they can do whatever the fuck they want to do with it. I don't know how the employees. I guess the employees don't have a say in it. I don't know. I just think it's weird. I
yeah,
think the whole thing is weird. I don't really. If you want to donate money, on one side or other side of the spectrum, do that. I don't think you should make a public spectacle out of it, though.
yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Well,
It's just a weird.
yeah, it's
It's
performative. I think that the issue for me is like, yeah, this is like Chick-fil-A is a good example, right? Or like any of these companies that are like kind of extreme in one way or the other with their views up high. And the way they talk about it is like, I wouldn't, if I owned a company, I wouldn't even I wouldn't even voice my political stance, especially as the entity itself. Maybe as an individual, I might, but like saying as Sony that you take a stand one way or the other, I find that fucking weird because there's a very, very good chance, especially as you get larger and larger, that there are people who disagree with what you're saying as the entity that they work for. Like, and then you're creating this weird work environment where, like, you know, a left wing person works for Chick-fil-A and it's like they have to reconcile that on a daily basis, to themselves and then with the people they work with, and that is just awkward, you know, like
Yeah,
that's,
and it can be the same for Sony. Like, what if you
yeah,
have
exactly.
people on the right hand side who are like, well,
I'm sure they
I
do. That's the thing. I'm sure they do.
and
Insomniac's in
that's
North
why
Carolina, dude. Like, come on.
like and that's why it's weird for me. Like that's why to me it's just weird.
Yeah,
And even my company does this. I mean,
mine does too.
yeah, it's just it's one of those things where it's like,
It's like annoying.
yeah, but it's like at the same time, it's like it is their money, but it's like I work for the company too. Like
Yeah,
I didn't get a say in this, and it's like I don't know how. I feel like personally, just to keep things balanced on both sides, companies shouldn't be doing that shit.
yeah,
I think it should be like kind of illegal to do that shit. And it's like well, you're muzzling their freedom of speech, but they're a whole entity. Their whole point is to make money. It's not to make a political statement. Like,
yeah,
because then you get into weird things with charity and well, it's donating to the babies and helping them feed. Is that political? And it's like I'm just trying to donate to a fucking my local, you know, soup kitchen. It's like, well, that could be political. That soup kitchen could be, owned by I don't know, Muslims or something, and we don't agree with Muslims, or it could be owned by Christians. We don't agree with Christians, and it's like
yeah,
it's getting into a weird slippery slope. So I guess it's the freedom of speech thing, but I think companies should be really, really, really like aware of what's going on and like the
yeah,
slippery slopes that you can do.
yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, man. I just
Yeah,
I don't find there to be any value in companies taking a stand on this stuff because it just becomes performative bullshit. Like with Pride Month is coming up, right? And
yeah.
we do this every fucking June, bro. Like where all the pride flags come out, and like at the end of the month, all the pride flags are gonna come down. It's like, what changed? Like, do you not support it anymore? Like, it's like, like, and we do this with so many different things.
Well, it was like the whole stand with Ukraine thing, right?
Yes,
Like
exactly.
I,
That's,
I'm
yeah, right.
I'm I'm rolling down 183 and I see Ukraine flags everywhere, and I'm like, bro, like 2 months ago, you guys didn't even know what this country was. You couldn't even put that country on the map. Like you
Probably,
couldn't.
yeah. Right,
So
exactly.
it's like I I don't know. Like businesses are weird. Like I said, they are their own entities. I guess, and freedom of speech and all the other crap like that. Like even the whole like when I was like really active in the streets for like Black Lives Matter, I thought it was so fucking weird when McDonald's was tweeting Black Lives Matter and Nike was tweeting. I just thought it was fucking weird.
And then
I'm like, this is going to
Apex puts like a badge in their game for it, It's like,
yeah, and I guess even to an extent when we did like we had like an episode where we had the Black Lives Matter symbol on our thing for the Xenoblade. Yeah, I remember the little thumbnail I made for it. It was pretty cool. I thought it was pretty cool.
mhm.
Uh but at the end of the day, and I was the main person saying I didn't want to get political, but it was just I guess it's just emotions. I guess it's just inevitable at some point in time. But
Yeah.
um I
Yeah.
think we all seen the backlash of like that liberalism that comes with that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it kind of undermines the whole movements of things. So even if you are for abortion or against abortion, like if you have huge companies backing these type of things, it kind of becomes like a profit based margin. Like they're only doing it for profits at this point. Like I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that's what I'm getting at is that I don't believe in their altruism. Like, like there's like Sony matching Insomniac's 50K donation. Like, yeah, I guess it's a nice gesture, but guess what? They get to write that off on their taxes. That's $50,000 of income they don't have to report this year, and I'm sure their accountants are like, "Fuck yeah, dude!" Like it's not a totally. like there are other motives to do these things, people don't just donate money because they actually believe in the cause. Sometimes it's for tax purposes they're doing it, like there are ulterior motives. So I don't know. I just like I don't think Jim Ryan should be sending emails out about this shit. He should just shut his fucking mouth. Like dude, it's like if I was on the board for Sony, I'd be like, dude, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like 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 shut up. Like this has nothing to do with the business we're trying to run. Like you like keep your eye on the ball, Jim, like keep your eye on the fucking ball, dude. Like it's like you're just like creating negative PR buzz. Like I don't know. It's just a total unforced error from them. So I don't know. I think companies too. I agree with you. I don't think companies should be involved in this stuff. I don't. I'm sorry, but I hate how like involved they are in politics and these movements and things like that. Like they influence shit, because of their monetary power, and it's like it kind of has led us to where we are. So I'd like to see less of it personally, but
Yeah, me too.
all right,
I just I'm
yeah,
not liking that, so whatever.
all right, fair enough. Let's move on, Montrell. All right, April NPD. This actually came out like 2 weeks ago. I always forget this until the end of the month for some reason, because there are some months where it doesn't come out until the end of the month. It's very weird. But so NPD numbers, as reported by VentureBeat, total video game sales for the month of April were 4.337 billion versus 4.729 billion last year. That is a negative 8% change. Video game content. This is physical, digital game sales, DLC, microtransactions, subscriptions, etc. 3.844 billion versus 4.267 billion last year. That is a negative 10% change. Video game hardware, 343 million this year versus 295 million last year, and that is a 16% increase actually. And then video game accessories, 151 million last year versus 167 million this year. That is a negative 10% change. And then year to date, 18 billion, 258 billion this year versus 19.888 billion. This is for total video game sales, negative 8% change. Video game content, 15.972 billion this year versus 17.313 billion last year. That is another negative 8% change. Hardware, 1.543 billion versus 1.7 billion last year. That is a negative 9% change. And then video game accessories, 743 million this year versus 875 million last year, negative 15% change. So we're continuing to see the trend of year over year decreases in sales overall. This is kind of a comeback from the last 2 years of the pandemic. Not surprising. I think this trend will continue. But Montreal, anything you want to call out here before we move on to the games?
No, I think it's pretty standard, to be honest with you.
Yep.
Let me. I kind of blanked out on one part. Is Mario Kart on there?
I haven't read that. I haven't read the game list yet.
Okay.
Don't worry.
I'm pretty sure.
Spoilers.
Oh,
It is. Hold on. Guess where you think it is. Top 20. What slot? It was 8 last month.
Okay, it was 8 last month. Okay, I was about to say 8 again. I go with a different number because that's a safe number.
Okay, I'm just gonna tell you, you actually hit it right on the nose. So it was 8 last
Oh, really?
month, 8 this month. The game is called Mario Kart 8. There's something going on here. I don't I don't believe this. It's very, very suspicious. So yeah,
I'm telling you, bro, it has to be the bundles. It has to be.
It's got to be the bundles. I don't know. Are they including that stupid RCAR thing or whatever the fuck that you can buy, where you can like race a car around your fucking house in a Mario Kart track?
Maybe. Is that considered Mario Kart 8?
No, they can't. No, it's called Mario Kart Live Circuit or something. So I think it's a totally different thing. But
okay.
All right. Top 20 for the month. Number 1, Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. Number 2, Elden Ring. Number 3, MLB The Show 22. Number 4, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Number 5, Nintendo Switch Sports. Number 6, Call of Duty Vanguard. Number 7, Horizon Forbidden West. Number 8, Mario Kart 8. Number 9, Gran Turismo 7. Number 10, Pokemon Legends Arceus. Number 11, Minecraft. Number 12, FIFA 22. Number 13, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Number 14, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 15, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. Number 16, Animal Crossing The New Horizons. Number 17, WWE 2K22. Number 18, Mario Party Superstars. Number 19, Madden NFL 22. And number 20, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Besides Mario Kart, anything jumping out to you there?
I'm actually surprised to see Lego up there. That's
Dude, the
crazy.
top of the list I find actually really interesting. Yeah, Lego at number
Yeah.
1, right? That's really strong. I mean, this wasn't a big release month. There wasn't anything huge that came out this month, to be honest. It was really Lego and then Nintendo Switch Sports, which is number 5. Those were probably the biggest releases, I guess. And then Kirby though, holding strong, dude. Number 4. It was number 3 last month when it released in March. So Kirby's selling, man. It's very interesting to see. I still want to play that game, but Tiny Tina's Wonderland's also holding on at number 20. There, Pokemon selling strong. Of course, Smash Bros, Mario Party, still on there. So Call of Duty, of course, lower than I would have expected though. Number 6. Um, but Lego Star Wars, yeah, it's the best selling. I think it looks like it was the best selling Star Wars, or sorry, Lego game. Yeah, it's the. So here's a quote from the article. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga achieved the highest launch month dollar sales for any Lego title in history, and after 1 month, ranks them on the top 6 best-selling Lego titles, Lego games life to date. Which is interesting. They attributed it to pent-up demand for the Skywalker Saga and Lego games, because there actually haven't been a lot of Lego games in the last few years. Anything else jumping out to you on that list?
Uh, I would say Kirby, but that game sold like crazy over one weekend. The weekend it came out, so
Yeah.
it being this high doesn't really surprise me. But that's about it, though. Everything else is like whatever.
Well, so a note on Elden Ring as well. Elden Ring was the second best-selling title of April 2022. Elden Ring remains the best-selling video game of 2022 to date and has surpassed Call of Duty Vanguard to become the best-selling premium game of the trailing 12-month period ending April 2022. So that means the last 12 months, basically, like year over year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's actually insane. I mean, is Elden Ring going to be a casual game next game?
Jesus, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand how Elden Ring is selling so many copies, dude. Like, it's pretty.
It's the word of mouth, bro.
Yeah, man,
It's
it
the word of
is.
mouth.
Twitter, all the videos. I mean, people are still talking about this game, dude. Like now,
And
fucking
people are still doing
Elon Musk made a
builds.
character. Yeah, he put his build online. Apparently, it was terrible. Very funny
I mean,
stuff.
he's a terrible. I'm just joking. But like, uh, yeah, like I don't know the game, and it has PvP and everything like that. So that game's gonna be going for a while. I mean, all the Dark Souls games usually have a long lifespan, but
Mhm,
this game, I foresee is gonna have the lifespan of like 5 to 6 years
mhm.
easily. I'll be surprised if it's still hot at the end of the decade. To be honest with you,
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be one of those games where it's like on every NPD numbers list, like Breath of the Wild.
mhm. Yeah. Always just in perpetuity. Yeah, going forward, I could see that
Yep.
for sure. So let's talk about the 20 best selling games of 2022. So number 1 is Elden Ring. Number 2, Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga jumps into the second slot. That game fucking sold like crazy, huh? Damn, dude. Because yeah, number 3 is Pokemon Legends Arceus, which has sold 12 million copies this year. Dude, that means Lego
Whoa.
sold more than that. That's fucking.
Holy
Hold
shit.
on. Let me
No, that
confirm
can't
that.
be right. That
Hold
can't
on.
be right.
Pokemon Legends Arceus sales. Switch worldwide. Yeah, dude. Pokemon Legends. This is from Gamatsu. Pokemon Legends Arceus tops 12.64 million sold. What the fuck, dude? That's crazy. That Lego sold that much?
That doesn't surprise me. The Lego games were pretty fun and they were pretty casual. I can see parents going out and buy those and the Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, that's right. Nintendo tends to they actually release like full sales numbers when they talk about their game sales. They talk about
Hmm.
hardware sales like to a T. Like they so yeah, Pokemon Legends of Arceus 12.64 million units sold. And Kirby in the Forgotten Land 2.65 million. This was through March 31st. So that does not include April. So Kirby's numbers are probably much higher now, I would expect. But yeah, that's really interesting, man. Wow. So yeah, Lego's doing well. Number 4, Horizon Forbidden West. Number 5, MLB The Show 22. Number 6, Gran Turismo 7. Number 7, Call of Duty Vanguard. Number 8, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Number 9, Madden NFL 22. Number 10, Mario Kart 8. Number 11, FIFA 22. Number 12, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. Number 13, Minecraft. Number 14, Dying Light 2 Stay Human. Number 15, Monster Hunter Rise. Number 16, Mario Party Superstars. Number 17, Animal Crossing New Horizons. Number 18, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 19, WWE 2K22. And number 20, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. So, immediate thing I want to call out here that's jumping out to me is Dying Light 2. Dude, that game really must not have done well. Being under Minecraft and, over Monster Hunter by one slot. Like that Monster Hunter came out last year. I know it released on PC this year, but dude, it probably didn't sell that many copies. So, um, yeah, Dying Light 2 might have eaten some shit a little bit with all the stuff around it earlier in the year, like Elden Ring and Horizon. So that is interesting to note. Anything jumping out to you on the yearly list?
Yeah, Dying Light not selling. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, I would have expected more, dude. The first game is huge. Like, it sold a lot of copies over the years. Like, I think it crested like 15 million or something. So
Yeah, but I heard this one's not as good.
yeah,
I heard
it's
mixed
just
reviews on it, so
that
I don't
word of
know.
mouth, dude. Like that first impression. I'm sure the game will have a long tail like the first one when they fix it and start releasing DLC and stuff. But it is interesting that they couldn't stick the landing with it with the game. It's a little disappointing, but all right, Montreal. Let's move on to our final story of the week. Norman Reedus was giving an interview last week or last week, and he uh you know he revealed that Death Stranding 2 is in development. He just kind of blurted it out in an interview. He said that we have just started working on the second one when he was in reference to Death Stranding.
Hmm.
And after this, the day after this, Hideo Kojima released some very funny tweets of him, with a barbed wire bat, above Norman Reedus, and he was on his knees in front of Hideo Kojima, and he was, motioning to hit him with the bat. Very funny stuff. But then, he posted a picture at the end, where they were hugging each other. So everything's cool. But very funny. So Death Stranding 2 is in development though, Montreal. Did you expect this game to get a sequel?
No, I thought it was gonna be a one and done thing,
Yeah, I kind
but
of
it's
did too.
pretty popular, so has a huge cult following, and everyone that plays it says you have to play it. It's one of those games where it's really one of those games you actually have to play it. You can't watch it. You have to
Hmm.
play it. Because when I watch the game, I'm like, I don't get it. But from what everyone else tells me, you have to
Yeah.
play the game. So uh it is on sale. I think I'm going to buy it on PC, or actually, I got a PS5, so I'm gonna play it on a PS5. Um, but no, I thought he was going to do another project with Normus. Wait,
Hmm.
Normus. With Norman.
Norman, yeah.
Um, um, Among Us ad popped up on my screen, so I said Normus. But yeah, I thought he was going to do another project with him. Um, but I mean, Death Stranding is a cult hit. I mean, it sold really well. It sold pretty well for like their game coming out the gate. Um, I'm interested in see what they're going to do with it. If they're Are they going to take it the same premise they did last game, or are they going to put more action elements into it? I don't know. It is pretty interesting though.
Yeah, we'll see how it's expanded. I own it. It's on my backlog shelf. So I just need to play it at some point. But it's just another. It's a game. It's another game that gets lost because it's too long. Like it's a very time consuming game. Like 50
Yeah.
to 100-hour game, and it's like I just I don't have enough time for those. I play too many multiplayer games, so. But it's interesting. It's in development. I'm assuming it's in partnership with Sony. But I believe Kojima Productions owns the IP, so it might not be with Sony. But I would be surprised by that. For sure. I think Kojima Productions might have 2 games in the works, though. There's been a lot of rumors about them working on something not Death Stranding related, so we'll see. I guess what comes of that. But all right, well, let's move on, Montrell. We're done with news. To our final segment. We haven't done this in a few weeks. Guess the meta score, and we're gonna do it for a very fun game that's coming out next week. Diablo Immortal. I can't wait for the shitstorm. Let's see, Montrell. What do you think? You think this game is gonna score well?
I think it's gonna get like a 6.
6. Okay. A 6. Man, I don't know where I stand on this because they're releasing it on PC, but it's only going to be a beta on PC. And everything I saw this game when people were previewing it last year, I think it was last year, it really felt like a game that is going to be heavily, heavily, heavily monetized. However, it's been a long time since they announced this game. It was like 2018, right? BlizzCon. I think it was 2018 BlizzCon that they announced Diablo Immortal, and that was a whole disaster. But dude, it's like 3.5 years ago at this point. People probably have cooled down about this at this point. I have a feeling that this game is going to have good gameplay, and I think it's going to hook people in. And I feel like people are going to change their tune about it to the degree that it's going to annoy me. So, I'm gonna give it a 7. I'm gonna give it like a. I'm gonna give it a 7. I'm just gonna say 7 straight up 7.
Okay.
That's my guess. I think people are actually gonna like it more than you would generally think.
Okay. We'll see.
So we'll find out. Hopefully, we'll have an answer for you next week on what the actual scores were. If we don't, we'll do it the week after. So. All right. Well, Montreal, that's all we got for news this week, man. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss before we go today?
No, sir.
Alrighty then. So, everybody, if you like this episode, please like the show, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you are listening to it on, and please share it with your friends. If you'd like to interact with us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrap4the for Montreal. That is the number 4, not the word. I'm at ThunderNet01, and the show is at The Player's Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. And that is it for us, guys. We hope you enjoyed this one, and we will see you next week. Bye.